Hey guys, David Pingree with another Vital MX Race Shop project. Today we've got our Kawasaki KX450, our 2020, and this is an awesome bike right off the showroom. We wanted to make a few changes. The point with this thing was to try to build the best race bike we could on a budget. As far as the motor goes, bone stock, okay? All we did was throw on a Pro Circuit slip-on muffler, which gives you a little bit better performance, a little bit lighter weight, looks better, sounds better, really affordable in terms of exhaust systems. The header's pretty good on these stock ones. I actually like the guard there on the pipe. Keeps you from melting your pants and boots a little bit, so that's actually a pretty cool setup. And the only other thing we did was we added a twin air power flow filter and their power flow cage, which eliminates the screen in there basically. And these are a noticeable improvement on the dyno, noticeable on the track, just lets this thing breathe better. And so kind of more air in, better exhaust out through the muffler, and you really kind of perks the engine up a little bit. The suspension on the Kawasaki is unreal right out of the box. I would say it's probably the best handling bike all around out of all the 450s. So the one thing that we did, and I recommend anybody doing this, we went to Pro Circuit and just had them change the oil for us. The oil is much better these days than what it used to be a couple of decades ago, but it still can break down pretty easily. It's not the best stuff. So Pro Circuit went in, changed the oil for us. We left stock springs, but if you're a bigger guy, like 200 pounds, 200 plus, you probably want to go to a stiffer fork spring. And something that Kawasaki was recommending is actually throwing just one stiffer fork spring in one fork leg. So it kind of splits the difference. It's not a full step up to the next spring rate. It's kind of right there in between. And a lot of people had success with that. Again, at 170, I really like the stock rate. Pro Circuit helped me with sag. We set it at 103 with the stock spring. And one thing that they did recommend, this came directly from Bones, who helps me a lot on these projects still. Somebody's goofing up at the factory from these things, and the low speed compression on the rear shock is coming at one click out. I don't know what went sideways there, but it's not meant to be there. Dial that thing back out to 10 or 12 and start there. About 2 turns out on your high speed at 103 sag, and that's a good starting point for your shock. And that's just where I went. Today I stiffened it 2 clicks. I went to 10 instead of 12, and because here at State Fair MX, just bigger jumps, it's kind of tighter and jumpy. And I did the same thing on the fork. I went to, 12 out on the compression, I went to 10, left the rebound alone, front and rear, worked really, really well. But again, if you've got one of these bikes, check those clickers, make sure you're at 12 on the rebound, 10 or 12 on the compression clickers on the fork, 10 or 12 on the shock low speed, and then about 1.5 or 2 turns out on the high speed. So for suspension, that was it. And I was really happy with it today. I had a ball in this thing. Absorbs big landings good. I wasn't bottoming out and hurting my wrists. So I definitely put it to the test. And it's also really good in a little chop. We had a lot of like sticky little braking bumps coming up jump faces and things like that, and handled it great. So no issues whatsoever. And then the few other things that we did on this bike, SKDA did the graphics on this bike, and those guys are amazing. If you've not looked at some of the things they've done, their design is outside the box. It's really cool looking, it's different. So really stoked on the way this thing came out. And the gripper seat that they've got, they've actually, instead of just having ribs, they've actually got piping underneath it. So it's a pretty good ridge here, and I found it hold me in place a lot better than just the ribs. We did ODI bars and grips on here, and this is their lock-ons, but it's no waffle. But it's such a soft rubber, the durometer reading is so soft. So I really, really like these grips. If you haven't checked them out, look at ODI's grips, amazing stuff. And this is a McGrath bend bar, super comfortable. I was really, really happy with this. The pegs, which is the other point, if you're trying to build a race bike on a budget, I just took a rat tail file and I took these stock pegs and I filed every single tooth to a point, and these things are great. You know, the actual platform is good. It's just that stock, they come a little rounded, so when you get mud on there or any water, your feet start sliding off, and I hate that. For me, that's a big pet peeve. So I sharpen these suckers up good, and they're awesome and free as long as you got a file in your toolbox. We had a set of wheels that W built us from our previous project, so we just threw those on. Obviously not necessary if you're really trying to go racing on a budget. These stock wheels that come on the Cowies are great. It's got a cool looking black rim. They're strong, no issues. But we had a set of W wheels with a Talon hub, some DID rims. Dunlop tires, that's another thing I didn't mention. The MX-53, which is awesome here at Star West. It's harder packed, but really sticky. So this hard pack tire is just perfect. And then we finished it off with chain and sprocket from Super Sprox. Those guys make great products. I've been really happy with their stuff. You could also very easily, if you wanted to add some more horsepower, if you're a big guy or you're racing somewhere with hills or at elevation, you could throw some VP racing fuel in here, and it's just pour in horsepower. You can also check out, VP's got a full line of lubricants and coolant that are just awesome. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but we just started using some of those and I'm really stoked on it. So check those guys out, but VP is an easy way to just pour some horsepower into your bike. So really stoked on the way this bike came out. I could go race this thing, no problem, the way it sits. And we'll share all the cost of everything down below. If you look below, we're gonna post a link to all the companies that were involved and the cost of everything, just so you got an idea there. So thanks to these companies that were involved, we built an awesome bike and we did it without breaking the bank. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next Vital MX Race Shop project.